Welcome one and all, guys, gals, and non-binary pals, to another colossal episode of Dick Rogers, Space Detective. I'm your host, Eleanor Barclay, and with me as usual is the one, the only, Mike Nutley.
That's right, folks, and today's episode is a special one.
I think we say that in every episode.
Maybe, but in a way, every episode is a special one when Dick Rogers is involved.
I suppose so. But what makes this episode so special?
Well, this week's episode was a specially sponsored episode, which, in the world of radio serials, is not new, but is particularly rare for our little-known Dick Rogers. This particular episode came out sometime in the late 50s and was sponsored by a well-known company that, for legal reasons, we had to replace the name of in our reproduction of the episode.
Really?
Yeah, this era of pulp sci-fi was prime time for tackling large issues in the guise of monsters, aliens, and the like, and this episode is no different. Though, I get the feeling the sponsor for this episode got their fingers into this particular pie and may have changed the original intent.
That certainly sounds fishy if you ask me.
I'm definitely not saying it's not, but the episode was interesting enough we still thought it was worth reproducing. But maybe take the overall message of today's episode with a grain of salt. And remember, we don't endorse it.
Well, with that ominous disclaimer out of the way, let's roll right into this month's episode. Dick Rogers and the Planet of Monsters. I think I know where this is going.
Welcome back, gentle listeners, for this week's thrilling peek into the adventures of Dick Rogers, Space Detective. When you're a planet-hopping space detective, after a while you think you've seen everything the universe has to offer. But every now and then, even the great Dick Rogers runs into a crisis he couldn't have imagined in his wildest dreams. In situations like these, what separates the space detectives from the career cadets is the ability to look the unimaginable in the eyes and say, "No, you blink." So far, Dick Rogers is the only man who has never lost that staring contest. We'll see if he can keep up his streak tonight in Dick Rogers and the Planet of Monsters. Brought to you by our episode sponsor, Zithrax. Now we join Dick and his constant companion, Dr. Raymond, as they survey the site of an evacuation that came too late.
This is Dick Rogers, Space Detective, reporting to headquarters from the GIF planet KI-8U, Colony 54. The scene before me is haunting. What was once a vibrant, thriving colony has become a ghost town. The streets and buildings are covered in ash, victims preserved in their last moments. We had received a distress call from the colony earlier today. The dormant volcano that was providing geothermal power to the colony had suddenly erupted. We came as quickly as we could to support an evacuation effort, but it seems we were too late. Never before have I seen a site like this since the scene of Earth's own Pompeii. I'll continue investigating the source of this tragedy and further my report as soon as I can.
Dick signed off from his comm and looked over the scene. With him was GIF researcher Dr. Raymond.
I've done the investigation myself. This volcano was dormant. There was no sign of it erupting anytime soon. I've explored a few scenarios that could have triggered this sudden eruption, but so far nothing matches the data we've collected.
Is it safe to approach the mouth of the volcano? We might find more clues there.
By my calculations, it should be. I have probes scanning the area, and there is no sign of any volcanic activity whatsoever. Even for a dormant volcano, it's as if this volcano has had its last eruption. It's nothing more than a mountain now.
The two made their way up the mountainside, arriving at the top and peering into the crater that was once the mouth of the now dead volcano.
Amazing.
What are we looking at, Doc?
When a volcano falls dormant, rock and sediment form a kind of seal over the mouth, but the eruption blew that seal apart, leaving behind this shaft we're looking at now. I've sent my probes in to investigate, and they're reporting back that there's a sizable chamber inside.
And that's unusual?
Very. A volcano shaft should travel all the way down to the planet's mantle, where the core of the planet melts down bedrock into magma. The pressure of this layer is what causes volcanoes to form in the first place, but this is a closed chamber. Perhaps it was trapped gas that caused the eruption, heated from this chamber being closed off from the magma beneath it. But while that would have caused rock and debris to fall down to the colony at the foot of the volcano, there wouldn't be the magma or pyroclastic flow we saw on the way up here.
Could the geothermal plant have anything to do with it?
Possible. While geothermal power is generally considered safe, if it's done recklessly, it could trigger a reaction like this. But the odds are pretty rare. I'd have to investigate the plant to be sure. What's this?
What does it say, Doctor?
My probes are picking up unusual markings inside the shaft and the chamber inside the volcano. Look here.
Why, those almost looked like claw marks.
A few marks like these are not unusual. Unmelted rock formations could have caused it, but when they're so consistent like this...
You're not saying...
Give rescue patrol to Dick Rogers. Come in, Dick.
You have Dick. Report.
We have a survivor. I repeat, we have a survivor.
This episode of Dick Rogers has been brought to you by Zithrat Energy Solutions. The Zithrat family of companies want to remind you that whenever you need an efficient source of gas energy, think Zithrat. When your car is in need of a fuel up, think Zithrat premium leaded fuel. On those cold winter nights, think about Zithrat unscented gas, keeping your family warm and safe asleep. Zithrat Energy Solutions, because we care. We now return you to Dick Rogers, Space Detective.
Back in the medical bay on the ship, Dick Rogers and Dr. Raymond found a single woman, soiled with soot and ash. She had already been examined by the medical team and treated for her injuries.
I apologize for this, miss. I know this must be traumatic, but I was hoping you could answer some questions.
She looked to Dick with a stern glare, but didn't respond.
I'll keep this brief. Can I start with your name?
Rachel Kine. I was the security director at this research facility.
And what was the nature of the research here?
Advancements in geothermal power. We were building a plant to test some experimental technology. We hoped to improve the output of the process. If it worked, it would have revolutionized clean energy.
We found the cavern inside the volcano. Were you aware of that when you started drilling?
We knew of the pocket inside the mountain. We had taken measures to safely vent the pressure. Everything was going according to procedure, but what was hiding in the mountain was something we never could have expected.
What do you mean?
Our drilling woke something in there. A monster, a beast, laying dormant within the mountain.
That's not possible. This planet is uninhabited.
Look, miss, I know you've been through a lot today. Are you sure?
I know what I saw. It broke through the top of the mountain and destroyed our facility, our colony. It killed my colleagues.
What did it look like?
Like a lizard or a reptile. It stood on two legs, almost like an Earth dinosaur, but bigger. It seemed to be made of living magma. We're a research facility. We don't really have much in the way of weapons. We never stood a chance.
And where did it go?
Into the ocean. It caused the sea itself to boil from the heat it gave off. That was the last I saw of it. I was trapped underneath the rubble, but I was able to see that before I lost consciousness.
Thank you, Rachel. We'll let you rest for now. If we have any other questions, we'll let you know.
Dick and Raymond exited the medical bay.
Is there any chance she's telling the truth?
I'm sure she thinks she is.
But it can't be real, can it?
I suppose anything is possible. This planet hasn't been under GIF jurisdiction for very long. There's much we don't know about this planet or its history. If she's right, there may be a larger reason as to why this planet was previously uninhabited.
If that's the case, we need to report to the GIF. There are other colonies on this planet that may be in danger.
Dick, this is GIF Commands. Please respond.
This is Dick.
We're receiving another distress signal from the planet. Colony number 55 is reporting that some giant monster has emerged from the ocean.
That's only a few miles down the coast. We can be there within a few minutes. Send backup immediately.
Dick closed the comm and turned to Dr. Raymond.
Looks like we don't have to speculate after all.
Will Dick be able to stop this rampaging monster? Or will the planet be doomed? Find out after these messages from our sponsor.
Hey there, folks! It's your old pal Skeevy Mike here with a brand new offer just for you. Do you live in fear of some giant monstrosity rising up out of the ocean? Or lake? Or creek? Any body of water, really? And I know what you're thinking. Skeevy Mike, giant monsters aren't real. And my answer to that is, you can't prove that. They found the giant squid. Who knows what else is lurking down there? But why are we talking about this? Well, I'll tell you. Introducing Skeevy Mike's Giant Monster Insurance. Never again will you have to fear the loss of your property, loved ones, or pets ever again. So the next time some unspeakable terror rises from the deep, or the center of the earth, or drops down from space, you'll be protected with a name you can trust. Skeevy Mike! Brought to you by Zithrat Energy Solutions. Zithrat Energy Solutions in no way claims any responsibility for any recent monsters created from oil spills or misuse of radioactive waste. Giant monster insurance not available in California, Washington State, Washington, D.C., Delaware, the Bermuda Triangle, and Florida. So call today at 1-800-555-5454. That's 1-800-5454. Call today!
We return to Dick Rogers, the gift ship flying over the scene of Colony 55, and a grim scene it is. True to the description given by Rachel, in the middle of the colony stood a large monster, like a dinosaur made of molten rock, volcano-like protrusions from its back, erupting smoke and fire into the air. As the ship approached, the monster turned, opening its maw and unleashing a stream of hot magma. The ship was barely able to evade the sudden attack.
GIF Command, this is Dick Rogers arriving on the scene of Colony 55. Do you read?
We're in orbit above the planet, sending down attack ships. Do you have any intel?
It's living magma in the shape of a dinosaur. Any advice, Doc?
This is an amazing discovery. Dick, we've got to try to study it. And I'd like the records to show that I have chosen the name Vesuvius Rex for the monster.
What does that matter?
Being the person to claim a discovery like this is very important. Getting to name a new species is an honor not every scientist gets to claim. Plus, that also means I get the copyright to it. Think of the merchandising. I can see a whole line of action figures, comic books, perhaps even a film franchise. Once I've filed the trademark paperwork, I'd get paid every time someone even says the name.
Doctor, that thing is destroying lives down there. I don't care what it's called. How do we destroy it?
Oh, right. Scans show the monster, Vesuvius Rex, is essentially a living volcano. The way I see it, our only options are to let it run itself out of fuel. The heat and pressure inside it can't last forever.
Doctor! We'll lose a lot of people doing that!
Just cool it.
How can you be so callous, Doctor? Didn't you swear the Hippocratic Oath as a doctor?
I have a doctorate in space rocks. We don't swear any oaths. But what I mean is that our best option is to cool it off.
Doctor, the ship we're on right now is a rescue vessel. It has anti-fire measures.
We could siphon water from the ocean, but I fear it may not be enough.
Better than that. We have flame-dampening bombs. It reduces the oxygen and suffocates flames. It's meant for forest fires, but it might just be enough. Doctor, man the communication stations. Relay our plans to GIF Command and tell them to send down any ships with anti-fire measures that they can.
What will you do?
I'm taking command of the ship. No one else here has the training to handle something like this.
With a plan in place, Dick Rogers took his seat at the controls of the ship, circling back around to confront the rampaging monster. Vesuvius Rex.
Thank you.
By now, smaller gift fighter ships had descended and were attacking, though the giant beast,
Vesuvius
Rex, seemed to ignore their laser fire. Its attention was solely on the larger rescue ship as Dick flew it over the head of the monster. Yes, Vesuvius Rex, I'm using their name. Dick dropped a barrage of flame-dampening bombs over the creature.
Vesuvius.
One more time! Try and tell me the name one more time. See what happens. That's what I thought. Now, where was I? Yes, here we are. The canisters fell from the ship and exploded into a white foam that clung to the creature. The monster roared in anger, unleashing another stream of magma at its attacker. The stream hit the ship's engines, causing Dick to make an emergency crash landing on the beach. Dick, Dr. Raymond, and the rest of the crew were able to exit the vessel in time to see the monster still rampaging through the colony.
I threw everything at it. How is it still standing?
It looks like it burned through the flame-dampening foam. One ship's worth isn't enough.
Even now, as more ships descended from the sky, trying to extinguish the flames of the monster Vesuvius Rex.
Thank you.
They were met with the same fate as Dick's own attempts. Their efforts in vain, Dick is forced to watch, helpless as the monster lays waste to everything in its path. Can nothing stop this violent beast? What horror had geothermal power unleashed?
Dick, come in, Dick!
Dick here. The plan is a bust. The anti-fire measures aren't enough to stop this monster.
Try to use the name more.
Raymond, I swear to a non-denominational god, I'll feed you to this thing if you keep this up.
Dick, get you and your people off that beach. Something's approaching fast.
Dick looked to see the water of the ocean receding, far beyond what would be considered normal.
Everyone, run! Off the beach!
Everyone scrambled to get away from the ocean before the waters rushed back to land. But as the wave crashed against the shore, another large body emerged from the waters. The body of a serpent with 2 large forearms and 8 heads like the Hydra that once battled the Greek god Heracles.
Ooh, I'm claiming the rights to this one, too. I just need a name. Many heads. No, I think that one's taken.
Vesuvius Rex turned to face this new challenger. The monsters whirring at each other in displays of intimidation.
Magical Leopleurodon. No 2 word.
Dick, it looks like those monsters are going to clash. You need to get your men out of there. We're bringing down the big guns. It's the only thing that might do the job.
At this rate, Captain, I think the only thing that can kill these monsters is each other.
What are you saying, Dick?
It's elemental, Dr. Raymond. It's fire versus water. An ancient song that's been sung since time immemorial. My team will focus on evacuation. Let them fight!
Steamboat Willie?
Absolutely not.
And tonight, we've got 2 titans facing down for the championship.
Wait, who are you? What's going on?
I'm the announcer. I also commentate wrestling matches on the side. I couldn't pass up this opportunity. This is probably the biggest match I'll ever get to commentate. Literally.
All right, if you say so.
Trust me, the pay-per-view off this fight is going to pay off all my credit card debt from that one weekend on Clash on 7. Sorry, I kind of ran out of steam on that one, just like I did on Clash on 7.
That's right. Tonight's the battle to end all battles.
Tonight, the reigning champion, Vesuvius Rex, is challenged by a new up-and-comer from parts unknown, the dangerous and deadly Hydra.
God, I was right there.
And that's the bell. The 2 fighters crash into each other.
Hydra's got the close range advantage. Those multiple heads can tangle up his opponent, leaving Vesuvius Rex completely defenseless.
But what they haven't accounted for was the fact that Vesuvius Rex is made entirely out of molten magma. That's one hot stove I don't think Hydra will be touching again.
That's not the only card our challenger can play. Those heads aren't just for show. Look at that. It's firing pressurized streams of water from each of its 8 mouths.
And those streams cut through solid mass like a hot knife through space butter. I hope Dick and the gang are taking cover down there. Those 8 heads are concentrating their attention on Vesuvius Rex, but those steam explosions definitely aren't safe to be around.
Dangerous as they may be, the champ isn't going to take it lying down. It retaliates with its own concentrated magma attack. Hydra's already retreated from the heat once. Can it stay in this kitchen for much longer?
I think the fight is giving Dick Rogers an idea.
Dick Rogers to give command.
What is it, Dick?
The Hydra monster seems to be the key to weakening the magma beast. If we can push their fight into the ocean, it may be cooled off enough to take it down.
We can send bomber squadrons down. Keep the area clear and take cover.
Copy that.
It looks like Dick has a plan. He's taking command of the scene on the ground. He's commanding any remaining GIF operatives to clear the area, getting as many civilians as they can out of the scene before the bombing ships make their run. But that sound in the sky tells them they don't have much longer.
Take cover!
These ships are top-of-the-line GIF bombers, the absolute pinnacle of space-age warfare, and they're coming down fast, blanketing the scene in plasma explosives.
Those monsters don't seem to like it.
They do not. The fighters have paused their fight and are now trying to flee the scene, taking the brawl to the beach and the shallow waters of the ocean beyond.
But their truce didn't last very long. As soon as the two make it into the water, their fight continued. Vesuvius Rex brought its jaws down on one of the necks of the Hydra. With one pull, it yanked that head off completely!
But you know what they say about hydras, and that old saying seems accurate here, as even now, it looks like that head is regenerating as the remaining heads of the beast fend off Vesuvius Rex's attack with their pressurized water streams.
This is Dick Rogers to GIF Command. The monsters are in position. Now's your chance to hit them with everything you've got.
Copy that, Rogers. Commencing orbital strike.
In orbit, the GIF commander is giving the order to fire the biggest gun the GIF has in their arsenal. The orbital electron rail cannon is a weapon capable of destroying one of the moons of Jupiter.
So far, no living thing has ever survived being hit with this weapon, but nothing this big has ever been hit with it before either.
Even now, as the weapon charges and fires its payload, the monsters rage on, unaware of the technological sword of Damocles hanging above their heads.
The sky above the monsters brightened as the attack from space came down in a blinding flash. Is it? Yes, it is the steel chair from above! In an instant, the two monsters were hit, and the shockwave shook the ground around the impact site. The light is fading, and it looks like both monsters are down! In some kind of miracle, the attack from the GIF ship actually did seem to incapacitate both monsters! What an upset!
But now it looks like Dick is surveying the scene, making his report to the GIF commander in orbit.
This is Dick Rogers reporting from the scene. The monsters have been hit with an orbital strike from the command ship. All is calm. All is right. One of the monsters, the Hydra, seems to be dead on the shore. The monster, designated as Vesuvius Rex,
Thank you.
still stands, though it seemed to have cooled down to the point of immobilization. It stands like an obsidian statue. I'm unable to determine if the creature is truly dead or simply in some form of hibernation.
Dick approached the shore, continuing to give his report.
I approach the bodies of these monsters in awe of their size and might. I wonder if these two creatures are naturally occurring megafauna on this planet. Do beasts made of air and earth lie in wait for us to discover next? Wait! Something's happening! The body of Vesuvius Rex seems to be cracking. Is it falling apart? No! No! The beast is shedding its skin like a snake and emerging from its obsidian cocoon. The monster is still alive! Vesuvius Rex is still alive! However, it does seem to be weakened, perhaps exhausted by its fight with the Hydra and our own attack against it. The creature does not return to its path of destruction, no. It retreats into the ocean. I can only speculate on where it plans to go from there. Perhaps to feed and recover its strength. With nothing left to throw at it, we are forced to watch as it leaves the destruction it caused behind. I cannot fathom what other terrors await us as I conclude my report from this planet of monsters.
This triumphant final broadcast marks the end of tonight's adventure. We hope you have enjoyed Dick Rogers and the Planet of Monsters. Be sure to join us again next week, same space time, same space channel.
Hello, can I talk to a representative, please?
Well, that certainly was a bombastic episode this week, wasn't it, Mike? Mike?
Yeah, I'd like the giant monster insurance. Yes, my name is Mike. Yeah, I'll hold.
Mike, you aren't seriously signing up for that, are you?
What? No, of course not. I just, wanted to look over my options. You never know.
Right. So on this episode, I was so totally interested in...
Yes, I'm still here. Yeah, I was looking at the giant lizard package. Now, does that have any overlap with sea monster coverage? Like, if a giant lizard came out of the ocean? Vesuvius Rex?
I guess it's up to me to hit him with the socials. We're on Facebook at Dick Rogers Pod, on Instagram at Dick Rogers Space Detective, and Twitter, at Rogers Space. And you can join the nerds on Patreon at patreon.com/space_detective. Good night, everybody. And make sure to join us for your next Dick appointment. Same space time, same space place.
Really? How much for the additional Mole Man package?
This episode's nerds are Angela Ventris as Eleanor and Dick Rogers, Michael Storm as Mike Nutley, announcer and Ski v. Mike, Andrea Lying as the narrator, Nicholas Johnson as Dr. Raymond, Logan Wright as GIF Rescue Officer, Jacob Herman as Rachel, and Brittany Stone as GIF Commander. Dick Rogers and the Planet of Monsters was written by Logan Wright, music by Nicholas Johnson, sound design by Michael Storm, and audio editing by Nicholas Johnson.